let's talk about the areas in which you can disclose PHI. So the first one is treatment. So anything related to treatment, you can disclose PHI. But once again, we need to remember, business associate agreement still needs to be in place. The second area is payment. So any payment related to the health will be considered as acceptable area to disclose PHI if business associate agreement is in place. Okay, and the last one are operations. So operations are any activities which are necessary to run the business that involve PHI disclosure. A good example of it would be the audit at the facility. In order for the government body or any other private body to conduct an audit, they need access to all the information. But we cannot allow them to access it because it's PHI. So we will sign a business associate agreement with them and we will disclose PHI on the basis of the operations. Let's try to identify what. So review of doctor's qualification. Do you think it would be treatment, payment, or operations? So it would be operations because we can just make an exception, right? It's not treatment, it's not patient, but it's necessary for doctor to run his business. Next one is prescription of drugs for a patient. So 3 seconds and you tell me if it's treatment, payment, or operations. So I hope you remember that I have mentioned that prescription of drugs for a patient is considered to be a direct treatment. Thus, it's a treatment. Billing. So it really depends, because in this case it can be an impermissible disclosure, and here is when. The billing should be directly related to the payment for the health services or anything health related of a patient. And it must be absolutely necessary. We'll talk about the minimum disclosure rule in the next slides. But billing, it really depends whether it's really needed to provide healthcare services or not. But it will be related to payment, second category. Next is the one and only, the minimum necessary disclosure rule. You must perform all reasonable efforts not to use or disclose more than the minimum amount of PHI necessary to accomplish the intended purpose. What does it mean? If you have patient's first name, last name, social security number, and their policy number, and in order to execute an operation or activity, you need to disclose only their social security number, only last 4 digits of the social security number, it will be a violation of Hipaa and violation of the minimum necessary disclosure rule to disclose anything more than the minimum which is needed to accomplish the goal. Now that we have covered a lot of information, let's try to sum up. In order for you to disclose information to someone else in any way, shape or form, you need 3 things. First, this disclosure should be within the areas of treatment, payment, or operations. Second, this disclosure should be under the minimum necessary disclosure rule. Third, there should be a business associate agreement between you and the party you are disclosing the information to.